Big news here, guys. BYD had just reported their Q3 earnings, and their profits and revenues have grown significantly. Now, one area of their business, they actually beat Tesla, and one area they lost to Tesla. So here's the comparison between the two companies in Q3. First of all, BYD, their sales over the next 3 months are about to actually easily surpass what we're just looking at now. So even though these reported earnings are great, it's going to be very interesting to see where BYD ends up by the end of this year, because it's been reported BYD has sold more than 500,000 cars in the month of October. Hello, my friends. Great to have you with us. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching The Electric Viking. And I want to say a big thank you to all of those of you who have supported us on Patreon. I'll put a link in the description below to our Patreon page. Basically, I've been able to do 6,000 videos over the last 4 years because of you guys and because of other supporters on the channel. So I just want to say a big thank you to all of you. BYD, we just found out the details of their new Blade battery, the version 2 Blade battery. If you want to check that out, jump on my channel. I have a video up there. 3 big changes to the Blade battery version 2. It absolutely smokes Blade battery version 1, which, to be honest, is old, dated, pretty old technology now. It really is. Sorry, it really is. It doesn't matter about the hype and the marketing. The truth is, energy density of that old Blade battery, or the one that's being used right now globally, it's very low. It's the lowest of any LFP battery, 150 watt hours per kilogram. The new version blows it out of the water. So check out that video to see the future of BYD, where they're heading. If they can mass manufacture that version 2 Blade battery, that will play a huge part in their future earnings, future revenue growth, because many manufacturers now are using BYD's Blade batteries, but they'll order significantly more. More manufacturers will use these new version 2 batteries. BYD would probably place big orders with them if they're able to get this battery. So that'll be a game changer for the company if they can mass manufacture them. Now, BYD's earnings have risen, and they've actually overtaken Tesla on revenue for the first time, which sounds great. But I mean, technically the Volkswagen Group overtook Tesla on revenue as well. In fact, the Volkswagen Group smoked Tesla on revenue, but their profitability collapsed and their revenue actually fell by 41%. So revenue is not everything. Remember, if you made, let's say you made $1 trillion in revenue, that'd sound amazing. But if you're losing 5% on every sale, how much money would you have lost on $1 trillion in revenue? Revenue is great, but I think it's important not to read the headlines. Otherwise, you'd think the Volkswagen Group are doing really, really well. Well, they're not. They're doing really badly. What matters, I think, more than that is profits. So whilst it's true that BYD did overtake Tesla on revenue, they did not on profits. That said, BYD's profits have continued to grow, which is, really good news. In fact, net income for the company, or basically net profit, was $1.63 billion. That is growth of 11.5% year over year. And it's actually up 28% from the second quarter. BYD's profits in the second quarter of this year, compared to revenue, were pretty tiny, to be honest. But that has changed. So big step up here from BYD to make $1.6 billion. But if you think about it, right? I mean, $28.2 billion in revenue and profit of only $1.6 billion. It doesn't sound that good, does it? I mean, very, very low profitability, but it is actually pretty good. I think it's actually really good. This is a company that's growing massively, growing really, really fast, right? Not growing as fast as like Zeekr or Geely, but they're growing incredibly fast this year. And they are going to become the biggest company in the world in terms of overall car sales. To do that, though, they've got to be very competitive on price. The new BYD Shark, I believe they are making a loss of around 20% on every car they sell, maybe $20,000. Massive. It has to be big, right? But they don't care. So BYD's priority and their focus is growing revenue, not growing profit. They believe that profits will come later on. That's their strategy. BYD reported revenue of RMB 201.1 billion in the third quarter, which is around $28 billion US dollars. And it's up 24% year over year and up 14% from the second quarter. Now you can see this graph here from CNN Post shows you their revenue is growing pretty damn impressively. I mean, look where they're at in the fourth quarter of 2020, right? It was minutes. In fact, their revenue in the third quarter of 2024 is more than 4 times higher than 2020. So the company has it has grown more than 400% in only 4 years. That's staggering. Now, in US dollar terms, BYD's revenues were around $3 billion higher than Tesla's, but Tesla did make more profits. In fact, Tesla made $2.17 billion on, their profitability as a company. So basically what that meant is their actual gross margins were fair bit higher than BYD's. That said, there could be some confusing reporting going on here. I don't know exactly, because a lot of that revenue, a lot of that money that Tesla made actually came from the sales of carbon credits. And so, in fact, BYD sells carbon credits as well. So we don't know how much each company made exactly and how that would change their actual profitability. But that said, Tesla's profitability was actually up 17.3% from a year ago. Basically, put it this way, both companies are actually doing really well. But let's just kind of dig into the details a little bit more. Analysts expect BYD's revenue to hit $35.7 billion in the fourth quarter. That would mean revenue for the entire year would be $106 billion for 2024, up from $83 billion in 2023. But it'll also mean it'll be up from only $33 billion in 2021. So BYD, based on current estimates, are going to go from $33 billion 3 years ago to $106 billion in revenue. Tesla's Q4 sales are expected to climb to $27.4 billion in total revenue, bringing full-year revenue to around $100 billion, versus $96.7 billion in 2023 and $53.8 billion in 2021. So Tesla will probably double their revenue this year versus 2021, whereas BYD will triple their revenue versus the same year of 2021. Both BYD and Tesla get the vast majority of their revenue from EVs, but both have other businesses like energy storage. BYD Electronics makes handset components and does some smartphone assembly, including for the Apple iPhone. But the truth is, that's not a significant part of their business. Really, car sales are the primary seller, but second to that, battery sales to other companies and to themselves are a big part of the business. BYD vehicle sales actually passed Tesla's back in Q2 of 2022 and are now actually more than twice as high at 1.135 million for the quarter versus Tesla's 462,900. But I personally don't feel that a lot of those sales that BYD are making are really sustainable. And the reason I say this is that a very large percentage of them, in fact, most of BYD's growth this year has been plug-in hybrids. I personally don't think plug-in hybrids are a vehicle people will want to purchase within a few years' time. Now, for example, if you can get an electric car with 400 plus miles of range that is the same price as a plug-in hybrid, would you buy the plug-in hybrid? I think some people will, but most people won't. I estimate at least 80% would prefer the EV, which is far less complex, will last you longer, has a lot less fires. In fact, plug-in hybrid fires are hundreds of times more likely than electric car fires. So, in my opinion, plug-in hybrid sales are a bit of a false mirage for the company, and I think they'll have to pivot more to EVs and focus on their Blade battery version 2. Version 2 will help Tesla to sell more EVs because they'll have more range and much faster charging. In fact, they'll charge twice as fast as BYD's existing cars. Tesla makes only fully electric vehicles, and the China EV giant makes both EVs and plug-in hybrids. It does not make any purely internal combustion engine cars. BYD did top Tesla in sales in Q4 of 2023. That's in terms of EV sales. But Tesla has taken back that crown, and this year so far it's actually sold more fully electric cars than BYD. Now, EV sales are likely to close once again in Q4. There is a chance BYD could outsell Tesla in terms of fully electric car sales in Q4. It'll be a pretty close race. So what will BYD sell? How many cars do you think they're likely to sell for the entire year this year, for the first 12 months? It's going to be probably around about 4 million. So about 1 million increase versus the 3 million they sold in 2023. Elon Musk expects Tesla to sell around 1.8 million this year, Could they hit that number? And there might be just under that. It might be 1.75. But it would mean that, yeah, I mean, BYD will sell more than twice as many cars as Tesla. That said, of course, Tesla does make a lot more profit per car sold than BYD does. Now, Tesla's earnings have struggled a little bit over the past few years, but are still significantly higher than BYD's, which is a huge success for the company because really they're the only global company worldwide making significant profit, if any profit at all, selling fully electric cars. The US EV giant's GAAP net income was $2.167 billion in Q3. BYD's was $1.63 billion. Meanwhile, Tesla vehicles still have significantly higher average selling price than BYD, which has an array of price points but dominates the lower-end Chinese EV market. BYD Auto's gross margins are higher than Tesla's, according to the company. Now, a lot of analysts believe that may or may not be true, but anyhow, that said, BYD is in expansion mode and has been ramping up capital spending and research and development spending far faster than sales. BYD's CapEx was 20.3% of revenue in 2023. That's a huge CapEx. In other words, BYD is spending a lot of money investing on getting the best technology, trying to improve their software, trying to improve the company's products. Tesla's CapEx was only 9.2%. though that picked up to 14%, nearly that in Q3. Now, BYD's stock price, it trades over the counter in the US, so you can buy it in the US if you want to. It fell by 1.45% to $37.80. Tesla stock price is actually trading up 4.4% so far in 2024. And it hit a 13-month high yesterday of $262.51. So as you can see, Tesla stock is rated far higher than BYD's. Its market cap is $833 billion versus BYD's $104.7 billion. Now, does that mean that Tesla is worth 8 times more than BYD? Kind of. Now, that's a little bit confusing. It's not exactly a true explanation of the differences, but the reason that the biggest reason Tesla's stock is valued significantly higher than other automakers is really because of its artificial intelligence. BYD are very well aware of that. There's a huge difference in terms of the companies, what their approaches are, what they invest their money in. And they have begun to invest a lot of money. A lot of that CapEx spend you can see there is actually going into artificial intelligence, into improving software technology in their cars. They have gone on a huge hiring spree, and they actually now have more staff, more workers than any other car company in the world. So that is huge. They've been poaching engineers from whatever company they can get them from, the best, and they're willing to pay good money. What does that mean for the future of BYD when it comes to software, artificial intelligence? Well, no one really knows. To be honest, BYD's software is definitely lagging behind some of its rivals pretty significantly. They've got a long way to go when it comes to things like that. And that's not just my opinion, by the way. That's based on data from analysts where they actually look at the apps from different companies. Number one currently in terms of actual technology, software, integration, app performance is Tesla worldwide. When it comes to all the analysts, they say Tesla is number one. Number two is actually NIO, and third just behind NIO is XPeng. XPeng have risen by 14% on those rankings. BYD is not actually in the top 10 at the moment, but I believe they will jump into that top 10, potentially even into that top 5 within the next 1 or 2 years. All of that comes down to investment and focus. BYD know what their strong suits are, but they know what they need to do to get better. So you can pretty much guarantee that will happen. Let me know your thoughts. Is this kind of a good comparison between BYD and Tesla? If I covered off all the bases, if I haven't, make sure you let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.